Hello and welcome to our weekly live. My name is Jessica and I am the creator of OT Genius. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to just give you some more information as to how we can get some jobs that are beneficial to us as pre-occupational therapy students. This was actually requested by a student in our live group. Hey, hi Alexis, thank you for joining in. Thank you Denise, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. So yeah, it was a popular request. I got that request from a few students that wanted to know what jobs can they have as a pre-occupational therapy student, and I just wanted to give you guys some info on this on this topic. So I was kind of thinking about how many pre-occupational therapy students think that the only way that they can stand out is by being a rehab tech or a rehab aide and getting a job in a facility doing that sort of tech work. But as awesome as that job is, guys, I promise. Hold on, I'm trying to fix the glare on this camera. It's so annoying. Anyway, hey Jaira, how you doing? So, yeah, they think that the tech way is the only way, and that's not necessarily true. There are many ways that you can stand out in the application pool in terms of jobs, and I think that the first one that comes to mind is, a blogger, a vlogger, anything to do with Instagram, YouTube, because that actually, you can make some money off of that by having your blogs featured in certain OT websites and certain OT just like get those sort of even sponsorships, and that can definitely set you apart. That's a little bit of it. That's a small way to make money. And then not only that, you are creating advocacy and bringing awareness to the profession. So and if you're able to put that in your application, that obviously is going to show that you have a lot of content knowledge in regards to the OT, like just the OT world and what it's about and how we help people get back into their meaningful everyday tasks and occupation. So I think that that's one that you guys should definitely consider, because like I said, it'll make you stand apart just because it's also so unique. I know that there's a few students on here already. There's one particular girl, her name is Danielle. She has an Instagram page and sells even like OT shirts, and she makes I seen her put I seen her put like OT puns and stuff like that, and that's how she makes some money on the side. That's like her side hustle. And so yeah, that's one way to make money while you're in school. And also another one that I think is really great is coaching sports. Guys, we're very into functional movements, occupation, obviously. And one of the activities that we participate in, whether we're young, in our adulthood, or even later in adulthood, is sports. And some of us may not be able to engage in those occupations anymore if we are having certain limitations. But especially if you're dealing with a pediatric population, like that's very easy to do even without the OT training. You can definitely get into like coaching a sport if you do have that ability and have been exposed to a certain training from your past. Like maybe you were a runner, like a hardcore runner, and you know what it takes to finish like a half marathon. You can use that to your advantage. Maybe you know how to coach Little League, and you can talk in your application about how that taught you about gross movement and typical development in children. So there's many ways that you can kind of put a spin to that, and even talk about how it taught you about functional movement and different planes of movements. So it's very unique in that sense, and so that's why I think that it's definitely a possibility that you guys should consider as a job that will make you stand out as a pre-OT. Another one, I'm sure I've mentioned this before, is if you guys are very familiar with instruments, or have any musical talent, or even culinary art, or into culinary art, anything to do more a little bit on the creative side, that definitely also can be very helpful in your application, because it'll help you stand out, because people like to do those sort of things. And if you for some reason can't do play the piano, for example, maybe you can teach kids how to play the piano if that is what you're good at. And again, you're talking about fine motor skills. You can talk about the typical development that you learned while teaching children to play the piano, the guitar, whatever it is. You can do, if you are into culinary arts, maybe you can volunteer with a youth group in your church and actually start a sort of life skills type of thing, in terms of maybe like a meal prep and teaching small children in the elementary age how to make simple sandwiches. Even like that's you can get creative with this sort of stuff. So I think instruments and kind of like just teaching people more about cooking, if you're really into cooking, that is something that people will pay for if you know how to market yourself the right way. And so another one that I know is also very, very beneficial is tutoring. And again, you could go towards the pediatric population if you don't feel comfortable, engaging with an older crowd, such as college students that are taking anatomy and physiology. But I do encourage you to even possibly do so if you feel confident enough in those skills, because it will reinforce those topics. And again, you can put that in your resume, and you can share how you tutoring these children have taught you about, from the different forms of attention span and the cognitive requirements that come along with writing and reading. So there's so many little things that it can expose you to, and you can make money off of tutoring. And if you were wanting to go toward the older crowds, such as the college students, it can definitely help you to make some money on the side and put that on your resume as well, by sharing that you have a good base and solid foundation in your anatomy, physiology, statistics, whatever you feel strong in. And another one that I also think is very beneficial that you can do if you feel comfortable doing this is being a nanny caregiver, offering some sort of respite care. And this is also can be geared more toward if you're interested in working with the geriatric population. For example, I know that my grandmother, we needed respite care, and we needed someone to help us with her, because I was busy in school or working. My mom didn't have the time. Sometimes at night she would come home late, and we needed someone to be there for her. We paid someone to take care of my grandmother while we were gone. And believe it or not, people will pay money for that, and it will show you also a lot of the things that you'll have to deal with dealing with a geriatric population, if that's what you are very interested in, and how to deal with people that are maybe dealing with dementia, Alzheimer's, or maybe anxiety, all sorts of different things. You don't have to be an occupational therapist to already start thinking like one and to help people. The occupational therapy degree is basically going to be that title for you to be able to do certain things, and just give you that more of a foundation for you to say, I have the skills to do this sort of stuff. But my main takeaway for you guys that I want you to take from this video is to really hone in on your strengths. And I think that if you hone in on your strengths, you'll be able to do some pretty awesome stuff. Within actually the group that the business network that I'm a part of, there's this occupational therapy guy that is in our group. His name is Andy Sen. And what he does to make money also on the side as a clinician is he makes videos, like doodle videos for physical therapists and occupational therapists, and people pay him for him to make these videos. And they can be educational. So there are many ways that you can make money on the side, and I hope that you guys can hone in on your strengths and your gifts. And everybody has gifts. Everybody does. So maybe, like I said earlier, maybe you're a good writer. Hone into that. Maybe you can be a blogger and start advocating already for the profession, and people can feature your blogs, and that will start already getting you known in the occupational therapy world. It could, maybe, who knows, maybe it'll go so big that it can get you a sponsorship of some sort. You can create your own website and sell OT type of merchandise that people will buy. So like there's so many things that you can do with digital marketing and media by being a vlogger. And so that's part of the recap there. Sports coaching, again, we do deal with functional movements, and if you're dealing with children, you can learn a little bit about those gross motor movements and development. You can also talk in your application about how that has helped you to be a better OT, to engage in the pediatric world. Maybe you are very athletic and you want to help athletes get back into a certain occupation, for example, like running. I this weekend ran the Disney Princess half marathon, and I, for many reasons, could not train. So my friend, who actually trains a lot of runners as a PT, she's a PT and helps runners get back into running. I contacted her and she gave me a few tips, but I know she has a course and a program to help runners get back to that. So hone in on your strengths, guys. Again, to recap, the other one was instruments. If you guys want to help people learn certain instruments and you're really good at it, it doesn't have to currently be with people with disabilities. Like, you can make money off of that. There's people that are wanting to learn the guitar. So if you have that specialty and you can play the guitar, you can play the piano, you can play the violin, whatever it is, or maybe you're really good at cooking and you want to teach others how to do certain meal preparations and how to cook, do that. Use that to your advantage. Maybe you're good academically and you know how to succeed in the GRE and you can help people succeed in that. Use that to your strengths. Be a GRE tutor. Maybe you can tutor people in anatomy and physiology. And I believe it was week before last, I interviewed Dr. Kyle Rice, and how he makes money aside from being a clinician is helping people pass their licensure board, for their boards to become PTs. And maybe you guys can be the next Kyle Rice. Maybe there's someone here that is going to become very big in the OT world by helping them pass their licensure exams. I know many of you want a go-to person to turn to when it comes to your turn to take the NBCOT, which is our licensure exam to become an occupational therapist. And last but not least, nanny, caregiver, respite care, that sort of stuff. Especially if you're wanting to work with the geriatric population. So that's what I do have. If you guys have any questions, please put it in the comments section now. I will do my best to answer them. I will wait a few seconds to see if anything that I have said so far has helped you, either confused you guys, or if you're wondering how this can help. If you come up with a question later about the video, please feel free to message me and I will do my best to answer. But other than that, please share this video if you thought that it was very useful, and put hashtag play, put hashtag live if you're watching it now, hashtag replay if you caught it later. But I hope this helped in some way, and I will catch you guys next week. Also, if you have any topics that you want me to address, put it down in the comment section below too, and I will do my best to tackle that topic as well.